And before we start, I have a humble request to you all participants. Please mute your mic in between when the program is going on. If at all there is any kind of disturbance, so we'll all be affected. So once again, I request you all to mute your mic. We are going to start the program. Good evening, everybody. It's a fine evening, and I'm very glad to welcome you all to the English Language Teachers Interaction Forum, and also to the English Language Teachers Empowerment Program, organized by ELTIF, the English Language Teachers Interaction Forum. ELTIF is a voluntary organization seeking to reach out to the English-loving lots. ELTIF has as its motto, realizing the potentials of the less privileged ones, and also to help them to uplift themselves. And for that, ELTIF uses English as a tool for empowerment. This is the 8th workshop of ELTIF. And today's speaker is Dr. Ravi Narayan, Professor of RIAC, Bangalore. So I welcome you all. And again, I welcome all the participants and all the members of ELTIF to this program.
Thank you, sir.
We have a formal introduction of ELTIF. I would like to invite Dr. Leena to introduce ELTIF, to brief about ELTIF. Dr. Leena, please.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce ELTIF to you all. ELTIF is a voluntary teacher forum working for the empowerment of teachers, learners, and any user or lover of English language. ELTIF started as an informal gathering of teachers of English in 2003. And it got registered as a professional platform for interaction in 2010. English is a language of development, social leadership, a language of power, and language which is a window to the world. Understanding the significant role of English, ELTIF has taken it up as its tool for bringing a change in the lives of the most needy and the most neglected. This voluntary organization lives in and works mainly for the villages with motto of empowering rural India through English language education. ELTIF provides training to the teachers, catering to their individual professional development needs. ELTIF has organized more than 600 programs for students, teachers, and parents in various parts of the country. It has been involving in social activities such as organizing awareness programs for parents and public support programs for housewives, Kudumbashree, and tribal women, empowerment program for skilled and semi-skilled workers. Besides these activities, ELTIF has been regularly organizing national conferences every year, international conferences at least once in 3 years. ELTIF has been publishing a professional quarterly journal of ELTIF promptly and regularly for the last 10 years. Many teachers, especially those working in rural areas, got benefited from the empowerment programs offered by ELTIF. We couldn't reach to them directly when the COVID pandemic spread all over the country. Then the activities were switched to online mode. ELTIF first came up with online lecture series and then with English language teacher empowerment program, ELTIF, this one. And later with ELSA.
Please mute your mic, participants, please mute your mic.
ELSA English language studies, English language studies in South Asia. Again, we started our offline programs too. I extend a warm welcome to you all to this program. I also request you to join us in our mission, support us, be part of ELTIF, not merely for your individual enrichment, but also for fulfilling the social commitment of serving the needy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leena. Today's speaker is Dr. Ravina Ryan. And for the formal introduction of Dr. Ravina Ryan, I would like to invite Ms. Vinija. Please, Vinija.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. I'm so happy and proud to introduce today's resource person to you. Dr. Ravinarayan Chakrakoti is a professor and academic head of Regional Institute of English, South India, Bangalore. He pursued his research in Kannur University, Kerala, and the title of his PhD thesis is Portfolio Assessment in the Context of English Language Teaching and Training, a critical analysis of present practices and future prospects. He has an MA degree in English Language and Literature from Bangalore University and an MA in TESOL from University of Lancaster, UK. He also completed a postgraduate diploma in teaching English from the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. Dr. Ravina Ryan is the winner of several awards, such as British Council A.S. Hornby Fellowship for a one-year study in UK in 2008-2009. British Council A.S. Hornby Alumni Scholarship Award to attend International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language Conference in Manchester, UK in 2015 and 2020 as well. The area of research and teaching specialities of Dr. Ravina Ryan includes language testing and evaluation, writing in English as a second language, curriculum and course design, materials development, innovations in English language education, teacher training and teacher education, and second language acquisition. Dr. Ravina Ryan has published several books and chapters in edited books, and there are many articles in different journals to his credit. He did n number of paper presentations in various national and international conferences and conducted many webinars. He is a member of ELTIF family and has been associating with many of its programs for the last many years. Now, with great pleasure, I invite Dr. Ravina Ryan to handle today's workshop on multilingual approach, principles, and practices. I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. Now, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinija. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ELTIF, for inviting me to conduct today's workshop. I don't know whether I can call it a workshop. So thank you, Mohan sir, and thank you, Dr. Bhaskar Nair sir. Actually, thank you. Thank you all the organizers. Actually, when Bhaskar Nair asked me to be part of this webinar, sir has been asking me to conduct one session. I kept postponing, mainly because I'm a little nervous to speak in front of Dr. Bhaskar Nair. He was my research supervisor, my guide for my PhD study. So I was a little nervous actually to accept sir's invitation, but then he kept asking. Finally, I agreed. And now I see Professor Jacob Tharu's name as well. Jacob Tharu was also my teacher at EFL University, Hyderabad. Then it was called CIEFL, Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, Hyderabad. And there are many eminent experts in the field of English language teaching, teacher education. And this topic actually multilingual education, multilingual approach. This is new to me as well. So I could have talked about some other topic, but I also wanted to learn. So for the sake of this workshop, I kept reading quite a lot of materials. So it's a new learning for me. I'm also trying to understand what is multilingualism and how to adopt multilingual practices in the classroom. So I hope all of us can explore further and try to understand this particular concept better. I'm just trying to introduce the concept today. I don't think I'll be able to shed much light, but let's see how you take it. This is not a topic which many of us are not very comfortable with. I don't know how teachers will accept it. Okay. Anyway, I'll try to share my screen. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope you all can see the screen.
We can see, sir. Please continue.
All right. Put it in the slideshow mode. Yes. So that's the topic, multilingual approach, principles and practices. Let's begin. Yeah, I'm just going to show you a short video. All right, 1 second. Let me share the link. 1 second, 1 second. This is a 8-minute video. I'll try to play this once. Okay. Okay, I think video should be open. 1 second. Yeah.
So you have stopped
Yeah,
screen
1
sharing?
second. Once. Yes,
Okay.
yes. 1 second.
Okay.
There's an advertisement that's going. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Yes.
So audio is not on, I think, sir.
Sorry, video is? So you're not able to. Can you see the video?
Yes, sir, we can see the video, but
Okay.
audio is not working, I think.
Audio is not working.
We can't hear.
All right, 1 second. 1 second then.
Please
Wait.
share that audio also, sir.
I'll share the audio. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So audio, if I have to share the audio, let me try. Okay, right, I know. Yes.
Share with computer audio.
Computer audio, right? Yes.
Certain
Share
audio.
with computer audio. Yes. I got it. Sorry about that.
Okay, sir.
Excellent. Natalie, go ahead, spell that.
That's easy. Excellence. EXCELLENT.
Is it fine?
Excellence.
Excellent
Okay, sir.
work.
Fine.
Okay, so our last word will be resilient. Dana, would you spell that for us?
Okay. Resilient. RESILE. Wrong.
You mixed up your I and E again. I'm sorry.
You know what? Your new name should be Dyslexic Dana.
Hey, Natalie, cut that out, okay? It's not nice to make fun of people's learning disabilities. Dana, you're okay. You did great. Okay, everybody, don't forget the Hawkins Beehive Spelling Bee is in 2 weeks, and the winner receives, the Beehive Spelling Bee Trophy. Ah, yeah, wow. So, if you want to enter, come on up and get a flyer. Wow, thank you. Natalie. Dana, are you going to enter the spelling bee?
No, Mr. Willis.
Why not? You don't want to?
Competing in the spelling bee. That sounds like a dream. But I mix up my letters a lot and not very smart.
Hey, listen to me. Having a learning disability does not mean that you are not smart. It just means that you learn differently. See, you just need to be more resilient. Huh? Okay. So take one of those. And take this. Spelling note cards. And practice.
Thanks.
Okay.
conquer. C-O-N-Q-E-U-R. Conquer. Wrong again. This is so hard.
Hey!
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
Watch where you're going. Wait, don't tell me you're actually thinking about entering the spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm practicing for it. Why?
Can you even spell practice? Are you gonna get your I's and your E's mixed up again? Get real. You're not smart enough to win.
Well, Mr. Willis says just because I learn differently doesn't mean I'm not smart.
He's just being nice, dyslexic Dana. These cards can't save you. Nothing can. Bye.
Hey, my note cards. I can't believe it. They're all ruined.
Dana, what happened?
I should have never tried to enter the spelling bee. I'll never be smart enough to win.
Hey, don't say that. You can still win.
Oh yeah, how would you know? You don't know what it's like to have dyslexia.
Actually, I know pretty well what it's like to have dyslexia because I've been struggling with it my whole life.
What you have?
Yes, but I don't let it stop me. Do you know I actually won the spelling bee? 20 years ago. That's me on the night I won. And my English teacher believed in me. I didn't think I was smart enough to win, but she taught me the exact thing that I am trying to teach you. Having a learning disability does not mean that you are not smart. It just means that you learn differently.
Oh my gosh.
Take conquer. Before you spell it, just sound it out slowly. Conquer. Start tapping. Find a rhythm and say each letter slowly. We'll see if this works. C-O.
Conquered. C-O-N-Q-U-E-R. Conquered.
Yes. Dana, that's called finger tap spelling. You are so smart. You just learn differently. Okay, come on. Let's keep going.
With Mr. Willis helping Dana, she now starts to discover new ways of learning that work for her. She learns to tap while spelling out loud. The beat helps her put the letters in the proper order. She practices spelling while jumping rope. She finds a rhythm helps her learn faster. She discovers all these new learning tools to help her overcome her dyslexia. Dana was spelling words she never even thought would be possible. And then came the day of the spelling bee. Dana gets asked a lot of challenging words, and each time spells them correctly. She keeps moving up the ranks and beating one opponent after the next. She makes it all the way to the last round, only to face off against Natalie.
And now for the final round of the Hawkins Middle School Annual Beehive Spelling Bee, Natalie. Your word is intelligence.
Intelligence. That's so easy. You might as well just give me the trophy. Intelligence. I-N-T-E-L-I-G-E-N-C-E. Intelligence.
That is incorrect. Intelligence has 2 L's.
No. That was an accident. I want to try again.
No, I'm sorry. Rules are rules. Dana, if you can spell this next word correctly, you win the trophy. And that word is resilience.
Okay. Resilience. RESIL. IENCE.
That is correct. And the winner of the 2021 Beehive Trophy is...
That's not fair. How can someone with dyslexia beat me? You're obviously not smart enough.
Well, I didn't think I was smart enough either. But then someone reminded me that just because you have a learning disability doesn't mean you're not smart. It just means you learn differently.
Whatever.
Okay, let's stop there. Or once. Okay. So, yes. Any comments, anyone? Any comments, any reactions? How do you react to this short film? Any quick comments, please? You can unmute and speak. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am Sumesh. I am your student.
Yeah. Yes, Sumesh.
Sir, I am in 2007 batch. Sir, this video says by tapping on or tapping in a certain way, you can get the spelling of a word.
Okay.
But I don't think it's easy to do that.
Okay. All right.
But what I believe is that this a word is seen as a picture. A word has a shape. We cannot learn the spelling of a word by heart.
Right.
See it as a picture.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry to interfere.
Yeah.
So in between, please don't interfere. You will get your time for question answers. Please
Okay.
wait for that.
No, Mohan sir. Yes, no, Mohan sir. I'm asking them to respond to the video. All right. Yeah. So Sumesh, thank you. Yeah. Yes, Revati madam.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Ravi. That was a wonderful video. From the video, I understand that as teachers, we have to show the students that they have differences in learning, and they have to understand that they have to work towards that. That's what I understand.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, we'll have to. Yes, we'll have to learn to respect others. All right, individual differences are very natural. That's right. Yes, learn to live with differences. Any other comments? And the title of this video is "Kids Laugh at Kids." I mean, if you look at the title, you will know. Kids laugh at a child who can't spell. Right? They laugh at children. I mean, here she cannot spell the word. And kids also laugh at others who cannot read, who cannot write. Kids laugh at children who cannot speak in English. All right, not necessarily kids, parents, neighbors. They make fun of children who cannot speak fluently, who cannot exhibit their knowledge, right? Knowledge of these languages. So, but I mean, we are not actually talking about using this technique for learning spelling. I think we're at, yeah, you can relate the video to the topic of multilingualism. Okay. So if children feel left out, if they cannot spell words, if they cannot read properly, if they cannot speak in English properly, they feel isolated in the classroom, right? So that's one thing we need to understand. And now let me show you my first slide. Okay. Right. Now this is, I'll just try to show you one or two signboards. So this is one what I have come across when I was traveling to Shabarimala. this is another thing you will see in Bangalore. Yeah, what is it about? Just one comment on this. You can unmute and speak, one of you, please. So why am I showing this?
Direction to the place. It's a direction to the
Right. Direction. Yeah. That's
Different
it. How many
lang-
different languages are used?
3 different languages are there.
That's right.
3 languages,
different-
sir.
That's right. 3 languages here. And if you look at the earlier one, how many different languages are there?
6 different languages are
6 different languages, right? This is what you see in real life. All right. In the real world, you will see signboards, you will see placards, for example, posters, notices in different languages, not just in one language. Okay. So, you know, we are living in a multilingual, multicultural country, and there are 22 scheduled languages. So it's a real multilingual country that we are living in. Yes, you can mute your microphone. Now, what languages do you know? You can use the chat box. What languages do you know? Please use the chat box or unmute and speak. And anyone, what languages do you know?
only English and Tamil, sir.
Only English and Tamil. Why only English and Tamil, right? You know 2 languages, not just
Yes,
Tamil.
sir.
Tamil. Good. Next. Next. Anyone, what languages do you know? Quick.
Tamil, English, and then I could able to read as well as some words I could speak in Hindi.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat, not
Okay,
with the fluency,
right.
but I could.
Thank you. Yeah. Next, please.
Tamil, English, Malayalam,
Hmm.
but Malayalam I cannot be able to read, but I can speak, sir.
Okay, good. So you know 3 languages, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. Next, please.
Sir, I know 4 languages.
Yeah. Which are those 4 languages?
Malayalam, Hindi, Tamil, and English.
Excellent. So you're a multilingual, right? So some of us are bilinguals. We know 2 languages. Some of us are trilinguals, and many of us are multilinguals actually. And there is someone who knows, yeah, Vinita, I think, Malayalam, Hindi, English, Kannada, and Tamil. Excellent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Then anyone else? Okay,
I
my
know
next.
3. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
May I speak?
Yes, please.
I know Tamil,
Hmm.
English, Telugu, and I'm right now learning Turkish.
Learning Turkish as well. Maybe for your work purpose?
No, sir. I'm interested in learning language, so I'm learning.
Excellent. Very good. Very good.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Now yes. Next question is, what languages do you speak at home, or what languages do you hear around you? Anybody can unmute and speak. What languages do you speak at home?
Mother tongue,
What is it? Which language is it?
Malayalam.
Malayalam. And what languages do you hear around you? Neighbors speaking languages, or your friends?
Mostly Tamil, sir.
Mostly Tamil. All right. Yeah. So you speak Malayalam at home. Yeah, Malayalam at home, but you hear people speaking Tamil around you. Okay. All right. Next, anyone else?
Sir, could I speak?
Sir.
Yes, please.
So I speak Malayalam at home. And here only Malayalam around home, the place.
Okay. Right.
My home language is Urdu.
I
listen to several languages like Kannada, Telugu, Tamil around me. I have learned English. Yes, Telugu, Tamil is very commonly occurring around me.
Okay.
And I also have listened to English and have been learning English.
Excellent.
So Hindi is definitely there.
Very good. So 5-6 languages. You're familiar with 5-6 languages?
Familiar with, yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. Now, my next question is, what languages do you see on the way to your school? What languages do you see on the way to your school? Like these signboards or languages used in public transport, for example,
Tamil and English.
Tamil as
Tamil,
well as in
English
English,
and
sir.
Malayalam.
Tamil, English. Okay, Malayalam, English. Right. If you look at, for example, milk packet, Milma or Nandini, you will see 2-3 different languages used, right? Yeah. Okay. And what languages do you come across on media, on print media, digital media, social media? Is it only Tamil, only Malayalam, or do you come across other languages on social media, for example? Huh?
Hindi.
Hindi, sir.
Yes, Hindi, somebody said.
Malayalam, English,
Tamil and
Chinese.
All
Chinese
right.
also.
Yes, yes. So it's not just one language, right? We don't hear only one language being spoken around us. We don't see only one language when we're traveling. And it's not just one language used on media. There are many different languages being used, right? And then, so why are these different languages used? Why do you think different languages are used? Sometimes 2 different languages are used at home. Mother speaks one language, father speaks another language, and maybe the child speaks a 3rd language. All right. So why are different languages used? Any answer for that?
Sir, it may be like, see, in home we are using mother tongue, but when it comes to working place, there we are mostly following English. And people from other places like Kerala or from North state, they are supposed to speak Hindi because their mother tongue has been Hindi and Malayalam, isn't it? So they feel convenient while they are speaking in this language. But when it comes to working place, they have to speak in English. So maybe because of this reason, they are speaking languages.
Okay, right, all right. Any other comments? A quick comment by anyone? Right, okay. Now, yes. Now, how do you make the officers who visit your school feel more welcome at school? How do you make your officers, your block educational officers, district officers who visit your schools, right? How do you make them feel comfortable at school? What language do you use with your officers? Is it English or is it the school language? I mean, the language.
English.
English
only.
In English only.
English. English
With your block level officers,
English only.
like
Malayalam, sir. The mother tongue.
Malayalam.
With the mother tongue.
It's mother tongue, right?
Tamil, mother tongue.
And you make them feel more welcome at school. Okay, all right, yeah. Right, so I'll just minimize this. Okay, so multilingualism is a norm, all right? It's a new norm, not monolingualism. We are not living in a monolingual world. We're living in a multilingual society, and multilingualism is more a way of life than a problem. It's not a problem to be solved. It is something that is to be cherished. And we respect the use of different languages in daily life. We have to respect the use of different languages in everyday life. So language is not only a tool for communication and knowledge. I think we've been saying language is a tool for communication. It's a tool for gathering information. It's not just that. It is also a fundamental attribute of cultural identity and empowerment. Language is a matter of your identity, all right? It's also a matter of your survival. It's a tool of empowerment. Whereas, see, that is the case in real life. We live with multilingual people around us. And this is a picture I took from my classroom, actually. I work in a teacher training institute, right? We train teachers. And this is a picture I took a few days ago. Any comments on this? So let me elaborate on this. This particular teacher, whom you see sitting alone here, okay. So in the beginning, this is a 20-day training program. In the beginning, he was sitting with others. He was sitting along with other teachers. But slowly, I've been observing him. He's getting isolated, and he's sitting all alone. You know the reason? What do you think is the reason? Why is he sitting all alone here?
Maybe he couldn't able to understand their language, what they are speaking.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So I asked him one day, why are you sitting all alone? And he said, so I don't I can't speak fluently in English. I can't mingle with others. I can't participate in discussions. That's what he said. He was literally feeling very bad about himself. He didn't express it, but he was feeling bad that he could not speak English fluently. He could not grab the opportunities to make presentations. He was feeling very bad. And he was feeling he was feeling frustrated about this. So if you don't respect, others' languages, maybe we should ask him, what language do you speak? Allow him to speak in the language that he is comfortable with, instead of forcing him to speak in English. So in a teacher training program like this, if you force them to speak in English, this is what will happen. Some of them will be left out, right? And this is what I'm saying actually. So I started thinking about multilingualism using other languages when this thing happened in my classroom, and also when I read a report of British Council. British Council conducted an impact study of one of our training programs. And this is what I read in their report. Most teacher educators, we have trained some master trainers. These master trainers conducted training programs at the district level. British Council observed district level training programs and gave a report of the impact of RI training. And this is their observation. Most teacher educators we observed used only English, and some described how they insisted on use of English only in the sessions. Some of these master trainers insisted on using only English during training sessions. While this provided an intensive period of English exposure, with some opportunities for written or spoken production by the participating teachers, the insistence on English may have prevented discussion on topics that many teachers lacked the lexical resource to discuss in any depth. So if you insist on English only during your classes, during the sessions, then they lack lexical resource to discuss topics in depth. For example, like how to engage in continuing professional development or how their learners learn. So these are some of the topics included in the training program. Some teachers were not able to discuss these topics at length because of their lack of fluency in English. So it is important that the teacher educators are aware of the value of teacher discussion in language in which they're most confident when it comes to theory and key concepts. So in teacher training programs, for example, when it comes to theory and key concepts, maybe we should use other languages. We should allow teachers to have discussions in languages that they are comfortable with. So this was one observation made, and this actually made me think a lot. What changes can we bring about in training programs, how we can accommodate other languages and make teachers feel comfortable, right? And these are some of the problems teachers share with us when they come for training programs, classroom problems, classroom challenges. For example, some teachers, they said, my students of 8th standard are struggling to read and write in English. 8th standard students are struggling to read and write in English. And so another teacher said they have a short-term memory. They forget everything the very next day. Most of my students can answer multiple choice questions, but they skip long answer type questions. In board exams, for example, they answer multiple choice type questions, but they don't attempt long answer type questions and they fail. Most of my students learn the questions and answers by heart. All right. So they say these are some of the challenges we face, some of our classroom problems. So what do you think? Why do you think students are struggling to read and write in English even in 8th, 9th standard? What could be the reason for their forgetting everything the very next day? And then they learn by rote. What? Yes.
Because they are not taught
One at a time. Yes.
Reading habit.
Right.
Reading habit is no lack of reading habit.
Lack of reading. Yeah. There could be many different reasons, but one reason I think is not allowing them to use their own languages. All right, our classrooms are English only kind of classrooms. All right, we don't encourage students to use other languages. I think this is also affecting their learning to a great extent. This is a feeling I have. Right, okay. And also, the government of Karnataka, for example, recently introduced English medium in many government schools. They opened English medium sections in 1,000 government schools in the year 2019, then another 1,000 in the year 2020. And this is what you see in many of the states in India now. They're converting, for example, mother tongue medium schools into, or regional medium schools into English medium. You see this in Telangana happening. All Telugu medium schools have been converted into English medium. So from next academic year, the medium of instruction will be English right from grade 1 up to the college or university level. The same thing has happened in Andhra Pradesh, for example. All Telugu medium schools have been converted into English medium. So that's the development that we see. So we did a study on how children learn in these English medium sections. English medium sections were open in 2019, and the children were in grade 2 last year when we did this study. So what we have seen is that choral repetitions, mass drilling, rote learning are found to be common practices in many of these English medium sections. Repeating in chorus, mass drilling, rote learning, these are all common practices. And students do not know the meanings of ascenders, descenders, greatest number, smallest number in maths lessons. You know, right? Maths also is taught in English medium. It's an English medium school. Environmental science is taught in English. But students are struggling to understand the meanings of mathematical terms. They don't know what is an ascender, descender. They do it mechanically. They're not able to do simple multiplication and division. Very simple, 1-digit multiplication, division, they're not able to do in grade 2, grade 3. And then children spoke very little in these classrooms. Opportunities for students to involve in genuine communication, interaction in any language were very limited in some of these English medium schools. And surprisingly, children could write their names in English. When we asked them to write their names, they were able to write it in English on the board, but they could not do so in their own language. They could not write their name in their own language. Right. So what do you, I just want you can use the chat box. So what do you think about some of these statements? Do you think the goal of English language teaching is to produce native-like English speakers? Are we teaching English to produce native-like speakers of English? Do you agree or disagree with this? You can use the chat box. For each of these statements, please write agree or disagree in the chat box. Yes, I'm looking at the chat board. You can unmute and speak. The goal of English language teaching is to produce native-like speakers of English. Yes or no? Oh, there are some participants who agree with this. All right, the goal of teaching English is to produce native speakers of English.
No, sir.
Vinitha agree. Arrow, Stalin, Abraham agree. All right, others, yes. Okay. Kalpana agree. Okay, surprising.
Sir,
all
actually,
right.
we can't agree with.
Okay, all right. I don't think, let's see, let's wait. The next one, the best way to learn and teach English is through English and English alone. Agree or disagree? The best way to learn and teach English is through English. Teach English through English. What do you think?
Agree.
Yes, sir.
Oh, agree. Most of you seem to agree with this. Okay. So you still believe in direct method, audiolingual?
Yes, sir,
direct?
agree.
All right, yes. Code switching and translation are not generally accepted as legitimate classroom strategies. So code switching from one language to another, translation, for example, are not generally accepted as good practices, legitimate classroom practices. Agree or disagree? Many teachers, they feel guilty about it. If they translate words from English to students' mother tongue. They feel guilty about it. So what do you think? Code switching and translation are not generally accepted as legitimate classroom practices. They're not accepted, right? Agree or disagree? I think we all agree. Yes, they're not seen as legitimate practices. Many of us feel guilty about it. Okay, next. English medium schools should adopt English-only approach in their classrooms. English medium schools should adopt English-only approach in their classrooms. You can unmute and speak, or I'll be happy if one or two can just react to these statements. Yes.
So there is one important question to be considered here.
Yes.
As far as the using of the language, English language are the tool, code switching and all that. One position is to learn the language itself. Another one is using the language to understand the subjects. I would agree if you say that you can code switch when we are learning the subject, mathematics to geography or whatever. But I wouldn't probably agree that we should use the translation method or whatever when you are teaching the language as a second language. Definitely not native speaker like. I wouldn't agree to that. To communicate to English, one should practice, but that is possible perhaps when we insist that we somehow speak in English only, slowly and fastly. Thank you, sir.
Because you have just 45 minutes of English class, right? Even there, if you start translating, then where do students get? I understand that they'll not get exposure to good English. I understand, but then concepts are not there only in content subjects, right? Not only in maths and science. You have concepts even in English textbooks. There are difficult concepts which students need to understand, right? I mean, certain topics, themes which are discussed in English textbooks, they're sometimes beyond the level of students. So maybe that's why they translate. Some teachers translate and use mother tongue as a resource, right? But still, it is not accepted as a good practice, right? And next, students using local languages in such English medium schools should pay small penalty. Students using local languages in English medium schools, they should pay penalty. They should pay some fine to the school. What do you think? Agree or disagree?
Would I speak?
Yes, please.
I can't agree.
Why?
Students should not be punished for speaking Malayalam in English medium school.
Why, sir? Can you justify? Why? Give reasons.
Because all students will tendency to speak in their mother tongue. It's quite natural. So we allow them to speak freely. Don't force them to speak. Don't force them to speak.
Right. Good. Yes, that's right. That's right.
In English.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the next statement. Assessment practices such as question paper should be only in English. We are specifically talking about English medium sections because that's what we see around us. All right. So do you think assessment practices such as question paper should be only in English? Or can we make question papers bilingual, multilingual if possible? Is it possible? Or should it be only in English? All the instructions only in English? Or it should be only in English? Many of you seem to agree. Dr. Bino, Chitra, all right, Joshua, it should be only in English. Okay. Right. Anybody who says, no, I don't agree with this?
Excuse me, sir. May I speak?
Yes, Stalin. Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm Aro Stalin Abraham. Really, the multilingual opportunity we can give, but we should encourage the students to speak in English class, in English. And in the same time, we should give opportunity to speak Tamil or any other regional language in their own regional subject. So it is not that we are tolerating the students to not to speak their mother tongue. And even it is not good to translate a bilingual method in the English medium. We should respect at the same time, we can encourage the students to speak English in English class, at the same time to speak regional language in their mother language subject.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. Dhiren.
Yeah. If may I add here, sir, the assessment question papers can be bilingual if the medium is vernacular, not for the English medium. If a child is studying in English medium, then the question paper should be in English medium. Whereas a person studying in Hindi medium or Telugu medium or Urdu medium, there is a practice in Telangana to have the question papers bilingual. So a translated version is also given. At times, a student may not be able to read Urdu or Telugu, but the question may be understood if it is given in English.
Correct. Good. I agree. But see, but when it comes to English medium schools, why do we have this purist kind of approach? English medium means only English. I mean, this is what is intriguing me actually. This is a puzzle. Why should we, see now most of the government schools are opening up English medium sections, and the kind of students who are studying in English medium schools. So do we still continue with this English only approach, or do you think it's time to think about all these issues and bring some changes in our practices, in our approaches, and try to accommodate other language? I'm just throwing open these questions. There is no definite answer. Yes.
So, but the government, when they are moving from the vernacular medium to English medium, unfortunately, NEP does not agree to that.
Okay. We'll come to, yes, we'll come to that. NEP, yes, we'll come to that. Yes.
Sir.
Oh, yeah, who is it? Name, please.
Sumesh.
Sumesh.
Sir, what I believe is that the whole failure in this English class is we go for bilingual translation, teaching in our mother tongue. From the starting itself, from first standard onwards, in English class, if you talk in English, it will be very easy for the students because they pick it up as quite natural.
Okay, all right.
The whole failure is that. The whole failure is that.
Thank you. All right, because of time constraint, I have to move on.
Even students who have come to higher secondary section, they don't know how to speak. They don't know how, even their writing fails. Their writing fails because they don't know how to speak.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Sumesh. Thank you. Let me continue. I've got the time limit. All right.
547.
Listen, others can mute. Please mute your microphone. All right. So this is what I feel teachers can help students build strong identities by acknowledging and respecting their language. All right. It's very, very important to acknowledge other language, the presence of other languages in the classroom, respect other languages. And then there are many benefits of knowing two or more than two languages. All right. So the benefits, as you know, you can make more friends, you can enjoy music, films in other languages, and it helps in your workplace. As somebody said in the very beginning, if you know more languages, it definitely helps you.
April 30th.
Yeah. Can you mute your microphone? Somebody is speaking there. Yes. So the learner's own language, commonly referred to as...
506.
Can somebody mute him, please? Mohan sir, can you mute that person? Yes.
I have muted, sir. Please continue.
All right, thank you.
I have muted.
So the learner's own language, which is commonly referred to as L1 or first language, has been neglected as a resource in the learning of another language. And in some contexts, it has been banned altogether. All right. So using learner's own language as a resource, I think this has been neglected. And in many schools, many contexts, other languages are banned. And Professor Ajit Mohanty, for example, through his work with marginalized communities, he shows that many children are pushed out of school simply because teachers are told not to use the students' languages. All right, they're told not to use students' languages, only English. So I think there is no clarity about language in use in such classrooms. All right, what languages should be used? There isn't much clarity. There are no guidelines. There is no policy document on the use of languages in the classroom. Okay, so why bi or multilingualism? Especially because, English as a medium of instruction is being offered in many government schools, so which was earlier predominantly the prerogative of private schools. And monolingual medium of instruction as opposed to bi or multilingual medium of instruction. All right, So we are just trying to juxtapose these two: monolingual medium of instruction, only English as medium of instruction, as opposed to bi multilingual medium of instruction. And then this monolingual medium of instruction poses many challenges because students lack basic proficiency in English. And English is not used by the majority of students either at home or in their communities. This mismatch between students' school and home languages indicates a strong likelihood of educational failure for many, as well as exclusion from education for those from rural areas whose languages are most often not used at school. Right? So this is what many studies also tell us. English is the school language, but home language is different, all right? Community language is different. And there is a total mismatch between the medium offered in the school and the language used at home. And this results in educational failure for many students and exclusion from education, especially for students from rural areas, right? And from marginalized communities. So, and then this is, in Karnataka at least, these 2,000 English medium sections that the government has opened in the last 2 years, based on our experience in the first year, now we have officially called them bilingual medium schools. We are not calling them English medium schools, English medium sections. They're called bilingual medium sections. And this is what we wrote in the foreword to the training module. It would be too ambitious to expect children getting into English medium section of grade 1 to acquire English and learn content in English. It would be too ambitious to expect children to do this, to learn English and also to learn content subjects in English. It would be irrational to start to transact textbook without preparing children to receive content through English and respond in the same, right? Teachers teaching in English medium section will have to explore the advantages of multilingual context and ensure smooth transition through code mixing and code switching. Comprehensible input through a fine blend of mother tongue and English can create a strong base for learning. This is what we wrote in the first page of our training module. All right, forward, preface. So comprehensible input through a fine blend of mixture of mother tongue and English can create a strong base for learning. So textbooks have been made bilingual. We've made textbooks, maths and environmental science textbooks are made bilingual. And then we have developed a set of transitional tasks, transitional period activities for a smooth transition from mother tongue background to English. All right, English as a medium of instruction. Right. So the goal of English language teaching, I'm sure most of you will agree with this. I'm not going to ask you whether you agree or disagree. So the goal of English language teaching is to develop multi-competence, multi-literacies. The goal of English language teaching is not to produce monolingual native English speakers. It's no longer the objective. The objective is to develop children who are multi-competent, children who are competent in multiple languages, children who are multi-literate, all right? Not just literate in English or literate in their mother tongue. So even I would say mother tongue medium schools can follow a bilingual model. You can have Malayalam, maths textbook in both the languages, Malayalam and English, even for Malayalam medium schools or Tamil medium schools you can have bilingual textbooks. So let children get exposed to both the languages. And multi-literacies, not just the ability to read and write or not the ability to read printed matters, all right? These days we talk about digital literacy, technological literacy, visual literacy. So we'll have to develop multi-literacies in students. And bilinguals or multilinguals outperform monolinguals in tasks which require high levels of cognitive control. Again, this is what research studies tell us. Bilinguals, those who can speak 2 or more than 2 languages, they do much better than monolinguals, especially in high demanding cognitive tasks. And high achieving students can translate effectively between their home language and English. All right, higher level students, they can translate effectively between their home language and English. And teachers are able to comfortably shift between languages in the classroom. Teachers are not monolinguals, right? They can easily switch over from one language to another. This is called code switching, translanguaging. So when teachers are comfortable to shift between languages, so what is the problem? All right. So what is multilingualism then? But we live in a multilingual society. Our classrooms are multilingual in nature. Therefore, we need to view code switching, translating, translanguaging as a natural classroom process. It's a normal classroom practice. It's important to develop multilingual competence. All right, multiliteracies. We should encourage students to communicate across language barriers in the classroom, building on their knowledge resources. Children they don't come to classrooms with an empty mind, right? They come with a rich life experience. So just because they do not know English, they should not be prevented from opportunities to express their feelings, thoughts. They should be able to communicate across language barriers. We have to build on their knowledge resources, their life experiences. So multilingualism is generally understood to mean, this, I'll skip this. It's a use of more than one language, either by an multilingualism is a use of more than one language, either by an individual speaker or by a group of speakers. It is believed that multilingual speakers outnumber monolingual speakers in the world's population. Yes, more than half of all, all this, So multilingual class is a class where the learners speak a variety of first languages. Multilingual classes can be compared to monolingual ones, where all the learners speak the same first language. Or multilingual classes can be compared to you can see the similarities and differences. Monolingual classes, all of them speak the same language. Multilingual classes, they speak different first languages, right? And so UNESCO document, for example, UNESCO also propagates multilingual education. This is an international movement supported by UNESCO as a means to improve educational quality and reduce school dropouts. UNESCO supports bilingual and/or multilingual education at all levels of education as a means of promoting both social and gender equality and as a key element of linguistically diverse societies. Societies like India, for example. We have to, adopt multilingual approach to achieve equity, to promote social and gender equality, right? And multilingual education is associated with higher cognitive development of children. Studies show a highly positive relationship between bilingualism, cognitive flexibility, and scholastic achievement. And research suggests that bilingual and multilingual teaching learning materials and resources are far more effective than monolingual ones, right? Okay, so I just wanted to show you this. There is a school where in their website, you will see how they're developing multilingual pedagogy, how they're encouraging children to develop multiliteracies, multi-competences. All right, this is a Thornwood school in one of the European countries. I wanted to show the website, but I don't think I have time. There is a link to multilingual page in this website and how they're adopting multilingual practices in their classrooms. I thought it's very interesting. We have very few schools which advocate multilingual approach. Now let's come to NEP 2020. So NEP, National Education Policy, also promotes multilingualism. Promoting multilingualism and the power of language in teaching and learning, right? So this is one of the fundamental principles that should guide both the education system at large as well as individual institutions within it. I'm quoting from NEP 2020. Teachers will be encouraged to use a bilingual approach, including bilingual teaching learning materials with those students whose home language may be different from the medium of instruction. All languages will be taught with high quality to all students. A language does not need to be the medium of instruction for it to be taught and learned well. A language doesn't have to be the medium of instruction for it to be taught and learned well. And NEP again says all efforts will be made in preparing high quality bilingual textbooks and teaching learning materials for science and mathematics so that students are enabled to think and speak about the two subjects, both in their home language or mother tongue and in English. And sometimes home language is different, school language may be different, and then you're again talking about English as a medium of instruction. So look at that. So NEP says students should be enabled to think and speak about these two subjects both in their home language or mother tongue and in English, right? The teaching of all languages will be enhanced through innovative and experiential methods, including through gamification and apps by weaving in the cultural aspect. So again, technology, I think we have to develop multilingual technological resources. Gamification, apps should be multilingual, audio, videos in different languages, films, storytelling, poetry, music, all in different languages. We'll have to cherish the diversity, the multilingualism of our country. So the teaching of languages will also be based on experience learning pedagogy. So using multilingual approach involves recognizing and valuing multilingual nature of classrooms, creating a supportive multilingual environment in the school, establishing an inclusive learning environment. So in the beginning, we talked about a dyslexic child, right? So multilingualism is also about adopting inclusive practices and assessing individual learners in a manner that takes their linguistic background into account. So if you ask me, an assessment should be done as far as possible in a multilingual mode. We'll have to take their linguistic background into account and giving learners opportunities to use their home languages to support learning and demonstrating their understanding of subject content. That's important. And multilingual approach involves reflecting on how effective your implementation of multilingual approaches is in promoting learning. Teacher has to keep reflecting, how is this multilingual approach promoting students' learning? So it's not, we're not just talking about translation method here. If you're code switching, again, at what stage of the lesson do we have to switch from one language to another? What is the purpose of code switching? What is the purpose of translating? All right. So we'll have to have clear guidelines about using different languages. And then, yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay. Just one more slide and then I'll conclude and maybe give you some more time to ask questions. Okay. Yes, 1 second. Yeah, just 1 or 2 more slides. That's all. Can you see my slides? Yeah, so what are the implications? Yes. Okay. So this is again, literacy skills, for example. Just make it full screen. Yes. So study conducted by British Council again. So it said literacy skills, reading and writing are higher in those English medium schools where code switching is practiced when compared to English medium schools where English only approach is adopted. Again, based on a research study conducted by British Council in India, in 2-3 different states. Right. And now the questions to think, you can think about this. So teacher language, what languages should we use in the classroom? When, for what purposes, right? We'll have to keep thinking about students' language. Should we allow them to speak in different languages? Why? All right, when? And mere translation of words and phrases or communicating. Yeah. So should we allow them to, should the teacher use language only for translating words and phrases? Is it only code switching or is it also translanguaging? Translanguaging is communicating content, engaging in discussions. If you ask them to translate a story from one language to another, then that is translanguaging. That is not code switching. So should it be only translation of words and phrases, or should we also encourage translanguaging, communicating content subject, knowledge of the content subject? So I think we have to arrive at clear guidelines for teachers regarding the use of languages in the classroom. So in order to engage students in more cognitively challenging dialogues and discussion, the following classroom practices can be promoted. These are just a few suggestions. Like give students a chance to think in their preferred language first. Let them think in their preferred language first before they respond in English. Allow students to use local languages for exploratory talk and for group work. Draw on students' preferred languages for classroom discussions. All right. And then, yeah, somebody is, okay, implications. Yeah, so somebody is drawing something on the slide. That's all right. So we have to develop locally relevant multilingual textbooks and make the curriculum locally more relevant. We'll have to create opportunities for students to use all their linguistic resources to enhance communication and understanding. We have to develop positive attitudes towards local languages, multilingualism among students and other stakeholders. We have to develop positive attitudes among parents. Parents should have positive attitudes towards other languages, multilingualism, officers, for example, and all the other stakeholders. And you can use students as a resource. Older students, students within the class, they can help in adopting multilingual practices in the classroom. And we have to develop resources that display multilingual examples relevant to the curriculum. All right. And then make current code switching translation practice more cognitively engaging. I'm not saying what we are doing now is perfect, is fine, but we'll have to reflect on our own practices now about code switching and translation methods. Right. And we can also have language portfolios. Now I think we have only English portfolios or Malayalam portfolios. Why can't we combine both and have a language portfolio, a portfolio which exhibits their language skills, to showcase their language skills and experience of learning different languages. The portfolio can exhibit proficiency in all the languages they're learning. Why only one language? Why should it be language specific? Right? Yeah. So you can think about it. And then we can maintain reading logs. Students can maintain reading logs. Reading logs, I mean, all the materials they read in all the languages, not necessarily English. The reading log can have passages they read in different languages, especially in their mother tongue or regional language and in English, right? Multilingual project works, you can give multilingual project works, like they can go on field visits, see how many languages are being used in their locality. They can conduct interviews with people who speak other languages. They can collect data, right? And you can also demonstrate effective code switching practice. In teacher education programs, I think the trainer should demonstrate effective code switching practices. We have to showcase a variety of ways to learn and use languages. We have to teach, and teacher can learn the local language. And teacher education institutes can prepare videos for modeling good teaching practice, multilingual teaching practices. Right? Okay, so in multilingual classrooms, we have to use multilingual reading materials, multilingual reading corner, multilingual dictionaries, multilingual labels, word walls, and all that. I think I should stop. Okay, I'll stop here. I've got 2 more slides, but I don't think we've got time. I wanted to show you this particular website called Story Weaver, Pratham Story Weaver, where they have developed stories in multiple languages. You'll find stories in English and also in many Indian languages. Students can read stories in different languages. Maybe they read in Malayalam and then narrate it in English, read in English, narrate it in Tamil, Kannada, all right, or they can do translation. This is a very good website. You can explore, students can explore reading different stories in different languages. Yeah, that's all for now. I'll stop here and maybe wait for a few questions. Yes, over to you, sir. Dr. Bhaskar Nair, Ms. Mohanan, and others, organizers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It was really a wonderful session, sir. Your speech, which started with a teaching video. In fact, it made us all think seriously about a lot of issues we face in our classrooms. In the world of super diversity, it's sure that unleashing monolingualism is very important. And in just an hour or so, you could very beautifully explain it how in such context, the multilingual turn, making use of the practices of code switching, as you said, code meshing, translanguaging, etc., will strengthen the pedagogical perspectives and instructional practices. So we have a Q&A session. But before that, I would like to request the participants to fill in the feedback form. Participants, I request you to download the certificates after filling. We have the formal Q&A session. If at all any participant has got any doubt, you can please raise your questions. You can clear your doubts, please. You can either write your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask the questions, please.
And I request Dr. Bhaskar Nair also to please answer the questions. I'm not saying I can answer all the questions. Just listen to your questions. And Professor Jacob Tharu is there. Any of you, please feel free to take up the questions and answer them. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to, this is Mr. Pasha here. I would like to share my experience as a language teacher. Let me take a concrete example of Karnataka State Kannada medium schools. The medium of instruction is Kannada. We teach English as a language. Imagining a multilingual situation in any classroom, we have children from at least about 5 different home languages. Our purpose, if our purpose is to teach Kannada, to allow them to feel confident and be comfortable with the school atmosphere, even with the Banjara, Urdu, Kodwa, or Tudu, Bari, etc., it is fine. We can allow them to talk to them in the conversation with each other. When we are trying to teach Kannada language or English language, so supposing how do we do that? If I am a person, I know only English and Kannada, I do not know Urdu, I do not know Banjara, I do not know Korwa, and all of them are there in my classroom. So how do I compromise? Number one. Number two, as it is in our education system today, we have got the language textbooks and the subject textbooks, and we are doing it in Kannada language. Now we are suggesting that in another very big meeting, it was suggested that the textbook should be in 2 different languages. Which 2 different languages? If it is in English medium, English, and which is the second language? Is it Urdu? Is it Telugu? Is it Kodwa or Tulu or Bari? So then we say, no, it should be English. Kannada. Kannada is not the mother tongue of all of us. So we are creating another problem here. So do we agree, like the education policy, that we print the textbook in English Bari, English Tulu, English Urdu, what it is? And one textbook we are not able to handle, and we have already failed in the good education by one textbook, and the same textbook society and the same textbook writers are going to write the multilingual textbook. Where are we going? I'm from a very old school of linguistics, I agree, but somehow I'm not totally convinced. I should go through such reports and all that and come up with a practical solution. This sounds a little too theoretical, beautiful, but I'm not very convinced. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Abdul Rahman Pasha. Yes, thank you. Anybody can respond, sir. Dr. Bhaskaran Nair? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ravi, for this opportunity. 3 points I would like to point out. Not theoretically, but from practice going on in my place. In the village English festivals, which we have been conducting for the last 6 years, with a gap of, say, the 2-year gap of COVID, again, we have started. The village children are waiting for, it is in Kerala, with Malayalam, the mother tongue. The village children are waiting for tutors from outside Kerala. Once they land in Kerala, in their village, these tutors are surrounded by the village children. Even after the forenoon session, usually the sessions are in the forenoon. Even after the forenoon session, the children will be escorting those teachers to their place of stay, and they will be taking them around the village till evening. Number one. Number two, during quite a few sessions while working in Pondicherry Central University, I took my postgraduate students who are from all over India to a nearby Tamil Nadu village on the seashore. There also, during the interval, the North Indian teachers, North Indian tutors, that is my own PG students, were all surrounded by the Tamil-speaking children. Tamil tutors interacted with Tamil children, but Tamil children knew that at that time, Tamil children, they will be using only Tamil, quite natural. Therefore, they opted for, say, conversing informally with Odia, Hindi speakers. These two instances clearly tell us that whether village or slum or urban, children are willing to learn English, provided they are given English. What English? Moderately fluent and accurate English. Moderately, need not be perfect. Then, point number two, The term multilingualism discussed in the national curriculum framework is one. Being discussed by politicians is another one. Being discussed in the whole curriculum is at another one. But being discussed by the teachers of English must be an entirely different thing, because what are we paid for? Shall I take care of Malayalam in the 45 minutes allotted me to teach English? Or shall I try my best to give a little exposure to English? The 1960s, I taught through the structural approach without uttering a single word in Malayalam, the whole 45 minutes, and that time it was 6 periods. I somehow managed without using Malayalam. I'm not saying that I need not say, oh, I should banish Malayalam from my class. No. I was a Malayalam teacher. I was a Hindi teacher. I am an English teacher. I have respect to all these languages as well. My question is that if the teacher can provide that optimal input in moderate English with moderate fluency and accuracy, definitely there is no need of say translating or anything like that. The point is that let the teacher stick to English. Let learners have their mother tongue or any other tongue. And let the teacher encourage learners slowly and gradually move, at least in the English class, from regional language to English. No punishment for using Malayalam, but let there be rewards for switching over from mother tongue to English. The main question is teacher competence, teacher sincerity, and teacher willingness. The moment we say that, let there be translation and translanguaging and say multiculturalism and multi-language, then the 45-minute English session is going to suffer. Let the teacher stick to English. And beginning with Fraternity Communion, greetings, wishing, through giving instructions, supported by gestures, facial expressions, any instruction within a classroom, and on the veranda, exclusively in English, can be conveyed by a teacher, and you can get things done by any children in any remote village of India. Getting the attendance from the headmaster's room, bringing a piece of chalk from the staff room, getting a cup of water for that girl who is not feeling well. All the 100 things that you want to get done can be exclusively done through English. Of course, there may be imperfections. Therefore, my version of bilingualism is this. Let the teacher stick to English as far as possible. I don't say 100%. Let the learners float across mother tongue to English. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Hello. Any more questions from anybody? If at all anybody has got any more questions, if you need any more clarifications, please.
Questions, comments, any comments?
Yeah, any comments?
So can I speak?
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Students is studying in Malayalam medium or English medium school know how to speak in English, but they hesitate to speak in English. They are afraid that the teachers will scold them or punish them for making mistakes. How can we solve this problem?
Yes. Anybody can respond actually. Yeah, I mean, you can answer this question. So how can we encourage them? See, that's exactly what I was saying, right? Speaking is their right. Students have the right to speak, whichever language it is. Need not necessarily.
So we
yeah.
can always encourage students to speak India mother. We can tell them you make mistakes because only when you make mistakes you will learn. So let them make mistakes. We give them the confidence to speak, even in spite of making mistakes.
Yeah. And with technology, it's easy actually. You can ask them, they don't have to necessarily speak in the classroom. They can record, they can share it with the teacher. Speaking doesn't have to happen only in the classroom. They can speak with their friends, right? I mean, outside, and then you can ask them to record and share it with you. If they're shy in the classroom, they're afraid of making mistakes, they can share it only with the teacher. Don't force them to share it in the class, in the group. All right. Some students, they don't share their recordings in the WhatsApp group, but if you ask them to share it individually, they'll do that. So speaking can take different forms, right? It can happen in different places, not necessarily in the classroom, in front of the teacher, in front of the peer group, right? Yeah.
Sir, can I speak one more thing?
Yes, please. You can, but yeah, you can also give opportunities.
What do you think of the teacher who punished the students not speaking English? When about punish the students for not speaking English?
Not clear, sir. Question is not clear.
So what do you think of the teacher who punished or beat the students for not speaking English in class?
That's what that's. No punishment for speaking in any language. No punishment. All right. In one of the schools in Bangalore, for example, there was a rule. If students speak in any other language, they have to pay a fine. And then it was brought to the notice of the education minister, and the minister said, the teacher has to pay the fine. If you ask students to pay fine, I'll ask the teacher to pay fine. Right? The teacher has to pay the penalty.
Yes, okay. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Anybody?
Yeah.
Suyog Dikshit has made a very interesting comment in the chat box. You all can read that. Suyog Dikshit is from Maharashtra, from Mumbai. Suyog, can you speak? Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, good evening, sir. Fantastic session, and it was really helpful and resourceful. I learned many new things in this session. Good evening to all. I am Suyog Dikshit from Maharashtra, and my friends Ashok and Nisar, those were mentee under Ravi Narayan sir, and I have recently been in contact with Ravi Narayan sir because of my some personal projects. And I always find Ravi Narayan sir's sessions interesting and resourceful. And forward to that, I just had a small query. We generally use different terms like multilanguaging, translanguaging, code mixing, code switching. Could you please elaborate the difference between these terms, sir? Thank you very much.
Good question, actually. Yeah, code switching, code mixing, translanguaging. I think I made a reference to this during my presentation. Code mixing, code switching mostly happen at the word level, phrase level. We switch from one language to another, right? Code is a language. Switching from Kannada to English. I begin in Kannada, then I switch over to English. Or if you go to Delhi, for example, they'll begin speaking in English, but sooner or later they will switch over to Hindi. That comes naturally. So that is, in conversation, it happens in conversations. Mostly, if you say, for example, Kinglish or Minglish, Malayalam, English combination, Minglish, that's a kind of code switching, code mixing, all right, in terms of pronunciation. Whereas translanguaging is at the discourse level. You ask students to have deep discussions on a topic in any language they like. Maybe some students discuss in English and others, for example, they listen and then they try to respond to it in their language. So 2-3 different languages are used simultaneously. That is, yes, not at the word level. If they have to, if you give them a translation task, translating a poem, a story from one language to another. That is translanguaging. Was it all right? Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Then we
very
can
much. Thanks a lot.
discuss. Right,
Please
sir?
unmute your mic. Okay.
Yeah.
Ravi,
Yes, sir.
but just one more point. Again, from an old man, let not the freedom of being eclectic slip into escapist pedagogy. Eclectic pedagogy is one thing. You can have, say, bilingual or multilingual, all those things in the English class. I'm not against it. I was saying that teachers try their best to give as much exposure to the target language. If not from you, where else are they going to get a little English? So when we talk about, say, having, say, a freedom to move to the mother tongue, that eclectic pedagogy should not be mistaken and misused as an escapist pedagogy. Teachers should not escape from the responsibility of providing exposure to students in the target language. Thank you.
You're right. Yes, yes, I agree completely. I agree completely. And now that, I mean, whether we like it or not, many schools are converting themselves into English medium. So my concern is about those schools where English is introduced as a medium of instruction, actually, where everything happens only in English. Yeah, if it is a Malayalam medium school, of course, absolutely, you're 100% right, sir. They get just 45 minutes of exposure to English. So we should focus on the target language. But look at, sir, Andhra, Telangana, for example, even Karnataka, the demand for English medium, English as a medium. So this, yeah, that's why I was talking about using different languages for making the concepts clear, right? Yeah.
One last question, because it's already 7:17.
Yes.
If anybody has any more questions, one more question should be entertained.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what about the technical terms in maths, physics, and other science subjects? Should we introduce it in English or in our own language? I mean, the terms.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Like it depends on the grade, right? Class, in which grade they are studying. I think if they're,
yes, sir.
Yeah, if they're beginners, of course, I think explaining the concept in their mother tongue will definitely help. That's what I said. For example, they learn about ascenders, descenders. If you give them a textbook task directly, they will do. Anything outside the textbook, they're not able to do, which means they have not understood the concept of smallest number, biggest number. So for concept clarity, you have to use other languages, the language that they understand. If it is only English, again, you're encouraging them to learn by heart. All right. So constructivism doesn't encourage rote learning, right? So yes, science and maths, it's important to use other languages, especially mother tongue, regional languages, to help them understand those technical terms, right? But sometimes the terms in the mother tongue, they themselves may be more difficult. If you take photosynthesis, for example, how do you call it in Malayalam or in Kannada? If that is also difficult, then yes, there is a problem. You have to make it easier for children. And translation is not the only thing. You can use pictures, lots of other materials, right? Videos. All that is part of multilingualism. Translation, not just translating from one language to another. Using whole variety of resources and connecting to students, to their culture, to their personality, identity. That's important. Right? Yeah. I think we should, yeah, we can conclude.
Thank you very much, sir. And finally, we have the formal Thanksgiving. May I invite Dr. Nagalakshmi, faculty, SDNB Vaishnavi College for Women, Chennai, to express word of thanks. Dr. Nagalakshmi, please.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, quite.
Yeah. Today's speaker, Dr. Ravi Narayan, opened the presentation with a video to motivate the learners of learning disability on how to be resilient in language in learning spelling. Even I have a student of dyslexia. Having known about her problem, I am of no help to her since it is a heterogeneous classroom. But after attending your presentation, I can share this video to her and I can motivate that learner. He beautifully related to multilingualism from languages of individual, languages at home, languages around oneself, languages over media, and the reasons for the use of different languages. He emphasized how multilingualism is a norm today that is to be cherished, to be respected, and how multilingualism as a form of cultural identity. He illustrated from the British Council report, which says key concepts theory can be voiced out in the languages in which they are comfortable with, maybe mother tongue. He gave the astonishing facts of how some English medium schools function in a wrong way by trying to promote native-like speakers through immersion method, but fail drastically in the basic understanding of some concepts through language. Sir, I strongly agree to the part of your presentation on agree or disagree, which was really vibrant, triggered a lot of irresistible interaction among the participants to the core of problems on monolingualism, bilingualism, and multilingualism. It is a clarion call for teachers teaching in English medium schools to explore the advantages of multilingualism using code switching and code mixing and to ensure smooth transition through comprehensible input model. He reiterated the goal of English language teaching as to develop multi-competency, multiliteracy through multilingualism. He highlighted the international movement that's supported by UNESCO on the means to improve quality of education through bilingualism and multilingualism. He related the fundamental principle of National Educational Policy 2020, which promotes multilingualism and bilingualism, enabling the students to speak in home language, mother tongue, and English through technology, gamification apps on contents, subjects, and language. He justified multilingualism by the research report by British Council on literacy skills. He ended the session in a non-customary way of making the participants to ponder over teacher language, student language, translation, students using students as resources and cognitively engaging the students, etc. Even in the Q&A session, he could throw light on code switching, code mixing, and translanguaging, and teaching concepts and contents using other and regional languages. I would like to at the outset, on behalf of ELTIF family, I would like to thank today's speaker for this enlightening presentation. I would like to thank Dr. Bhaskaran Nair, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Bhaskaran Nair, sir, for giving more insights on the topic on using eclectic pedagogy and teachers not to fall a prey to escapic pedagogy. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Narayan, sir, and Dr. Bhaskaran, sir, for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nagalakshmi. And Sir, Dr. Ravi Narayan, thank you very much for your wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
And dear participants, I thank you for your active participation. And I do believe you had a very fruitful evening this day, and you enjoyed very much. I thank you all very much. We are glad to announce that ELTIF is conducting Village English Fest, as Bhaskaran sir, Dr. Bhaskaran Nair told you about it. The Village English Fest are being conducted in various villages. We have one program at the GHSS Karivallu from May 11 to 17. Another program at the PZ Guruvilasam UP School from May 18 to 23. And another one at Udinur UP School from May 23 to 28. We request all of you to be a part of it, either as participants or as resource persons. And before we conclude, I would like to request you to attend all our programs. ELTIF conducts many other programs too, seminars and workshops every fortnightly. ELTIF online lecture series and ELTIF ELSA online programs, ELTIF workshops. So participants, please wait for the brochure, register when the brochure is circulated, and attend all the programs without fail. Once again, I request you all to be a part of ELTIF. We are winding up. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Ravi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mohan sir. Thank you, Vinija madam.
We should thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
It was really a wonderful session. Anyway, informal.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll speak later. Thank you so much. Thanks.